So recently I had a friend of mine ask me, after having worked in the church for so long, what keeps me passionate about it and leaned in? And my answer was simply this: I am addicted to life change. And part of what we get the chance to be involved in here at Kensington is story after story after story of unbelievable transformation in people's lives.
Yeah, I think about even in our own stories where people invested in our lives in youth ministry and gave us their time and their talents and their wisdom. And we get to be a part of that for the next generation, because the next generation are going to be the future leaders. They're going to be the future parents. They're the ones who are going to continue to lead the passion for Jesus forward.
Which is why what I want on your mind as you're thinking about what to spend and how to spend and where to spend coming into the end of the year is the next generation. And just asking yourself, is that the place that's worth making an investment? I would say it absolutely is. And it's absolutely what you do when you make a year-end Christmas gift to Kensington. So the next story that we're gonna hear is a story of a young man named Chris. He's part of our Orion community. He's in high school, and this is how that group came around him recently to become a major part of the transformation he's experiencing with Jesus.
I think a lot of people expect their faith to be like that and everything's better. I think I realized though that it wasn't going to be like that, and I was fighting for it each day. And having that community there to help me with that and surrounding me with that support was really beneficial. Showing up to Edge, everyone is excited to have you there and to be able to share that experience with you. Right off the bat, me and Jesse we were close. We're similars in a lot of ways of just crazy, always having fun with each other and showing up to be able to have that connection right away.
Edge overall just meets on Sunday nights for all the campuses, and we kind of have a hangout time up front, just time for students to get to know each other. Some games sometimes out in the lobby, and then you're jumping into worship, group games and different things, and then some form of message, and then you get small group time, which is the best thing that we do. And it's ultimately just small discipleship.
I found just such passion and fire for Christ within Edge, finding more of who I was within Christ and defining my own faith journey.
Chris and I connected pretty quick, and we just kind of walked through that relationship through the last year, leading up to even the announcement of the Dominican trip.
I'm in band, marching band specifically, and they do this thing called drum corps. At the same time, they were promoting the Dominican Republic trip for that year. So I was in a situation where I either accepted this contract to go away for the whole summer, or I stayed and took the opportunity to go to the Dominican. And ultimately, that's what I chose.
We've been partnering with Go Ministries for years. And it's really a unique experience for us at Edge specifically, because all of our campuses come together, even from Traverse City, to do work projects, to do outreaches, to do VBSs, playing with the kids, letting them braid the girls' hair or do whatever that looks like, and then stepping into a couple days of like a VBS style kids ministry, stepping into the church and just seeing the 100 kids or whatever it was that were there. They were playing Duck, Duck, Goose, they were playing musical chairs, just laughing their heads off like they've never experienced.
Personally, for me, the biggest thing that happened on the trip was I heard from God for the first time. And it came very unexpectedly. I was struggling with some things mentally, and during a worship song on our last day of the trip, it just was as clear as I could ever imagine. I've got this. Take a break. Like, I've got this under control. And that was him. In my mind, I expected a big flashy thing, and it wasn't that. It was humble and peaceful and just comforting. And it threw so many emotions at me at once. It was life-changing. A little less than a month after we returned from the Dominican, my mom passed away. She suffered through 4 cardiac arrests, and ultimately as a family we had to decide to let her go. But personally, I was the only person there for a while before my family could make it. And so it was just me and my mom sitting with her while she was in the hospital and suffering through that. And I couldn't do anything. My hands were tied. And it made me reflect back on what I had heard from God was, I've got this. And that shook my world. I think more so than the loss was just that it came full circle. And it's hard to talk about. It was equally as terrifying as it was spiritually transformative.
I mean, I sat with him the night he lost his mom. We came back to the Orion building after having dinner, and he's just in this phase of just, I don't even know what happened right now. And we come back to the building, and there's a worship night happening, and we step into the worship service because he's like, hey, can we go into that? I was like, I'm not gonna push you, you know? And we step into that, and we get done with that after sitting next to each other for about an hour in worship. And he's just like, I never thought on the night I lose my mom that I'd be worshiping. And then from there, it's just like this community that's constantly been there for him.
You never know, right? Obviously, we can never expect those things to happen. And even if we do, it doesn't make it any easier. So it was for me understanding that you're gonna have to face this. You can't run from it. And ultimately, that's what I found. And that's what being with Edge helped me do, because I had built that community and they were helping me through that. It was right away people, unwavering support. And to this day, I'm still getting help from people.
The community has been absolutely amazing to really begin to fund him through a GoFundMe. And we have Full Throttle now stepping into giving him a car, which comes from somebody from our congregation donating the car, and then just going, man, this would be an awesome opportunity. Let's see if it works out. And then now he's getting a car.
Ultimately, I find that service and relationships, discipling, that's where my heart is. And so to be able to find that in a place where I can go every week and be with a community that supports me has been transformative, for sure. Those are the steps you have to make, is to just keep working forward and to rely on people and not being afraid of that. That's the message that I want to share, is that you shouldn't be afraid to accept that hand off the ground, because it'll lead you through it. And ultimately, that hand picking you up off the ground is God.